when the sooner we start going more across. Now what happens is, of course, we end up in certain career trajectories initially, and then people always think how to shift. But today it's very easy. You don't have to do a PG or anything like that. There are so many online platforms. The area you find exciting, I would just go do a quick course and then do a mini experiment. Try to understand whether it's an itch or really something I'm passionate about.
This pandemic has made many people reevaluate their life and work. Seeing so many people succumb to the COVID-19 disease was an eye-opening, sobering experience. It hit home that life is precious and too short. We are always one step away from disaster. In an instance, our time here is over. Hello and welcome to the Honest Talk by Freak Folks. I'm Harsh Pandey. For this particular session, we have with us today very special guest, Ms. Jisha Sharma. She is the best defined as a curious visionary mind who has led multiple global teams, solved challenging problems, transformed complex processes, and built revolutionary products. With more than 17 years of experience, she is an expert in the world of digital and AI who enjoys fashion and styling along with a healthy living. So first of all, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us.
It's my pleasure, Harsh.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure too. So moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is my Ikigai. Philosophers have been deliberating over construct that explains the pursuit of happiness and the meaning of life for centuries. Ikigai is one thought to combine the Japanese word ikuru, meaning to go live, and kai, meaning the sensation of what hopes for. Together, these definitions create a reason to live or having a life purpose. We all strive for satisfaction and purpose in our life. It's a kind of request to you. Please kindly explain to our viewers how one can define his her Ikigai and to find what are the actual questions one must ask to oneself.
Sure. So I will share my understanding. It's a very deep concept. So Ikigai, it stands for making life worthwhile. And I got inspired from actually this book.
Okay.
So this talks about Japanese secret of happiness. And what caught my attention was that it talks about a village, Okinawa in Japan, where maximum number of over 100 years old live. And then when I saw one or two videos, it was so active. So it amused me and I was like, I have to understand this. I have to read about this village and then about Ikigai. And that's where it started from. So it is a very, very interesting concept. And it really, there are some concepts that hit your heart and mind both. So at least this was one of those for me. So how it works is, so it talks about 4 key questions that we have to ask ourselves. And to be honest, it's a journey. So let me just share the concept and then I'll also in parallel share my journey with it so that people can, kind of relate to it better. So the first question within that is, what do you love to do? Right now, for example, if you ask me today, I know what I love to do. However, if you would have asked me this question when I was 18, I would have been more or less like, well, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that, maybe what my parents want me to do, maybe what my best friend is doing, right? Because we get influenced a lot at that age. However, what I've realized is that the secret is that after every different type of thing you do, I think what we have to see is what is making our eyes glow. In what particular task this happens that we lose track of time. So that is an area where we have to deep dive and see, well, is this the place for me? Now, so for example, I always loved 2 things ever since I was a kid. Now I can explain it in a better manner. I was a fan of ambiguity and challenges. There were situations wherein people will say, oh, this is super challenging, or this is a very messy state. And I would jump in and say, oh, let's do it. So that always used to give me some kind of fun. The other area I always loved was defining strategy, and I would become this natural leader in the tribe. Then the third thing, which is very different, is fashion and styling. It just started by chance that my friends would say, "Oh, come, could you help us with our trousseau?" Or they would borrow my dresses and just wear it, so people could just associate with my style. But when I was 18, 19, I would have never pursued my fashion and styling, for example. Why? Because parents always were like doctor or engineer. It would never. My parents are pretty accommodating, but I never thought about it. So anyhow, the first question you have to ask yourselves is, what do you love to do? Then the next one is, what are you good at? Right? Love is fine. Now I may love to write books also, but if I'm not great at it, it can't be your Ikigai, because of course, the other thought is you work very, 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 very hard and get good at it. But it's important that you are good at it, or you try an upskilling journey to become good at it. But ultimately, for it to be your Ikigai, you have to be good at it. So one of the ways that you can see that you're good at it is that usually you get good feedback, right? People would say, oh, you know what, you've done this job well. Or you yourself can feel that I performed way better than what I had thought. So that's another factor. Then the third question is, does the world need it? Are there any use for it, right? Like, say, for example, I know that ambiguity, problem solving, strategy, there are places like this, and I luckily found this product management profession, which I totally love doing, and in a brilliant organization. But there could be other areas. So you have to see, where is the user need. Similarly, my other profession could have been styling, or I can go in fashion technology. So you have to see what the world needs. And last but not the least, what can you get paid for? Right? So ultimately, you want to make money. Now, how much is enough for you is something that only you can tell. But once you ask these 4 questions, then whatever lies in the center of these 4 is defined as the Ikigai.
Yes. All right, ma'am. I think you have actually very greatly explained, and I'm sure the viewers who are watching this session, they are surely going to find this insightful on many levels. My next question to you is, many people are still living someone else's vision of life instead of what they want, what they actually want. We have one life, and it's essential that we live each and every day in the best possible way, based on what we desire, our ethics, our passion, and the vision we have of living our life. My question to you is, why is it important for one to realize his ambiguous thoughts about life?
It's a great question. I think it all depends on when you get clarity in life. Yes. Right? All of us, when we're born into certain families. We absorb certain mindsets. It takes time for you to find yourself. And it's a forever journey. I don't know what I think is my Ikigai today might not be my Ikigai 5 years down the line. I don't know. However, I feel there are a few things which are important. First, we have to be clear. Why are we doing something? So we have to always ask ourselves this question, that whatever profession I am in, why am I in there?
Right.
And it's important to ask this question every 3 months. Because say, for example, when you get started in a certain journey, I have a friend, and she started in technology journey herself. But she was never happy. And then she wasn't even doing well, because if you're not happy, you wouldn't do well. Ultimately, we kept doing this why thing every 3 months. She figured out cooking is something she loves, and she's happy now. She has a mini restaurant, and she's making 5 the money she would have made earlier. So many examples like these. So I think it's important that you have that clarity. Right. Then once you have that clarity, I think confidence and conviction is important.
Right.
And courage. So you have to be courageous. I would say take risks. It's fine. And if you have responsibilities, don't, there is always a way to secure your responsibilities and then take risk. So take risk at any and every age, be confident, and have some conviction, then world is all yours.
Right. It was again a very great answer from your side indeed. My next question to you is, what we have seen is, or it's a kind of request to you, please explain to our viewers how your life choices will always reflect your morals and belief, and how they will aid you in making a deliberate choice on what is important for you?
Again, another very, close to my heart question. You've done a great job with questions, huh?
Thanks.
So let me tell you a story on this.
Sure.
So a couple of years back, I was working with this leader who I knew is a person who believes in people sucking up to
Okay.
him. And I knew that, right? It was very clear. And I was at a stage in my career journey wherein I knew that even if I be the yes woman, I will get another promotion in next couple of months. I made that conscious decision to not do that. And they were why? Because there were some ethically conflicting decisions. Of course, the life is shades of gray. It's just that my shade of gray and his shade of gray didn't match. And I was like, ultimately, it's important that I have a good night's sleep. It's important for our beauty, right? So then I made this conscious call. And then next day in my journal, so I'm in a habit of journaling on daily basis, I just added a year to my goals.
Okay.
I was like, it's fine. I'm making this choice of doing the right thing. I might get a year delayed in my journey, but I sometimes, and that's where these situations people say slow and steady wins the race. And today when I look back, I just smile. So I'm a firm believer that if you're not able to sleep well at night, you are not doing the right things for your own value system. So it's time to think and figure out how to change your moments,
Right.
but never compromise. At the end of the day, we should have a good night's sleep.
Exactly. My next question to you is actually it's a kind of a personal question, so you may choose not to answer. Imagine if you would be just commanded for your work, for your life, and for your decision. How would you live? What would you do? Think about the hobbies and activities you would pursue but ignored now due to the fear of judgment of others.
So I have been blessed with this gift of communication and clarity now. I think I would live exactly the same way. I do feel like I've lost many years in my life because I wasn't clear what I want to do in life. It has nothing to do with anyone else. My approach in life since last couple of years have been that once you're clear, once you're sure, of course, I discuss it with family and friends. I would even go an extra mile and convince them. But if sometimes I'm very sure, it's okay to agree to disagree and just move on.
Right.
I'm going to be 40 soon. I am not looking for acceptances anymore.
Great. That's actually great. But what we have seen is many people around us don't have a clear vision about their life, their dreams, and they always ignore the things. They are always in the dilemma what other will think. So they are kind of not pursue their passion, we can say. So what are the kind of words, what are the kinds of advice would you like to give to them?
I can't agree more. And I've myself been on that track. I think two things which are really hampering this for us is lots of distractions.
Correct.
There are like so many distractions. Social media, while I love social media, and there's of course a lot of good in there as well, like phone, all these devices, parties, families, and like there's billions of distractions.
Correct.
That's one. Second, I think investing in ourselves. So two very tangible things that have worked for me is one is mindfulness. I was also so much into these distractions. Your gut will tell you, right? Some days that, oh, this is not the right thing.
Yes.
But do we pause and think? So I would say, practicing mindfulness or some kind of meditation really makes you pause and think. And
Right.
sometimes even a nice walk with yourself might do the trick. But so the first thing is whenever you're feeling like something is not going your way or you do not feel energetic, that's the best sign. If you're not popping out of your bed, there is a problem. It's as simple as this. And I would say, sit in silence, be with yourself, try to understand, and then, clarity definitely follows.
Indeed.
Second thing is, I think continuously invest in yourself. So what I do is every question I ask myself before I go to bed, that am I a better version of myself
Right.
than what I was yesterday? I think once we stop competing with others, but strive for excellence within, sky is the limit. And so I think these two things, if we try, and when the sooner we start going more across. Now what happens is, of course, we end up in certain career trajectories initially, and then people always think how to shift. But today it's very easy. You don't have to do a PG or anything like that. There's so many online platforms. The area you find exciting, I would just go do a quick course and then do a mini experiment. Try to understand whether it's an itch or really something I'm passionate about. A lot of times you would know that you will realize that this is an itch. So, for example, I'm a fitness freak. So there was once that I felt, you know what, let me do this dietitian course. Actually, more so nutritionist. And I enrolled for the course. I finished it because I'm disciplined. But after that, I didn't feel like picking up another course. So I realized it was just an itch. It's not a passion.
Right.
But, like say, technology always excites me. Problem solving always excites me. Styling always excites me. So, like just keep upskilling yourself and go wide. Like I have done courses even in AI and spirituality to the other end. And I read also, various kinds of books. So for some people it's courses, for some people it could be books, some people could be, seeing those videos. And then you would see it. And the signs to watch are, if you're going deeper and deeper into that topic, then there's an interest. And see how deep you're going. And then there's a time, to find a profession out of it. And to quote an example, my AI journey started like that. So about a few years back, I was pretty intrigued, by all these Alexa and Siri. So I started reading about it. And every day I found myself reading at least an hour or hour and a half. It started with informal courses then, and then I did a formal course. And next I get this brilliant opportunity of leading the artificial intelligence studio in my organization. So it all started with just a thought and then a lot of effort.
That's amazing. I think this answer was really a very inspiring answer from your side. And I'm sure, I think the viewers who are watching this session, they are surely going to take it as a positive kind of a helpful kind of a motivation thing. So thank you so much, ma'am, for giving such a very wonderful answer. And to be very honest, I'm truly impressed from this answer. And as you have mentioned in your last answer that our life is so much influenced nowadays by social media and all, we must have to accept actually this, that our life have been digitalized, tagged and tied up in matrices. Our real selves have split into online avatar and profile picture and status updates. A virtual life is sunny and bright. We all know this. It's where you post your prettiest picture and tell all your best news. But is it real? Most importantly, is it healthy?
I would say it's how you take it.
Okay.
So I have a different perspective on that. I am a believer that life is a mix of happiness and sadness, right? Happiness are the times when you shine, smile, play, have fun, enjoy with friends, celebrate. Right. But when you're sad, I feel it's time to introspect, right? So if something's not going right, it's really time to sit down, pause, think, reflect, learn, right? So if you're not sitting back and learning at that time, then you will never be able to let the sadness go away, right? And you will not stop making those mistakes, which can avoid you from getting into that situation again. So I'm a firm believer that the only thing that you can change is yourself, right? So now when it comes to social media, I honestly do not mind when people are only sharing their happy lives. Why? Because for me also, when I'm sad, I'm not even on social media, right? I like to spend time with myself. And it's literally like, so social media to me is either entertainment or inspiration, right? The only thing that we have to avoid is not fake it, right? If you're genuinely happy, post it like that. But you should be courageous to talk about your pains also if it is needed. So for example, I'll give you an example. For example, if say there is sexual abuse, and you feel like you've tried to do everything to solve it, but now it's not getting solved, then maybe social media is the place to just blurt it out.
Right.
So as long as your fear is not stopping you, or any other insecurity is not stopping you from posting the reality, it's fine. But it's about happiness, sadness. I don't judge people on that.
Indeed.
It's more about whatever you want to share with the community, you're sharing with the community.
Indeed, ma'am. I think it was again a very wonderful answer from your side. And I must say the kind of energy you brought into the session was very inspiring for all of us. The viewers, those who are watching this session, they are surely going to find this energy inspiring as well. And I must say there's a lot more to learn from you. But today I don't want to take too much of your time. So moving to my last question of this session, the question is, or rather say it's a kind of advice. What will be one piece of advice would you like to give to all the viewers, those who are watching this session, and mostly young millennials?
Interesting. So I would say, first of all, make happiness a choice.
Okay.
Life is too short to not be happy.
Right.
Second, upskill yourself on daily basis. I would request you that every day you go to bed, ask yourself, are you a better version of yourself or not, in every aspect of life? And last but not the least, put in a lot of hard work. We should all learn from ants, right? Whenever I look at ants, I just ask myself, am I working hard enough or not? And usually the answer is no, because we get too comfortable. So yeah, 3 things. Be happy in life, make friends, enjoy, have fun. Second, upskill yourself on daily basis. And third, work hard.
Great. It was amazing advice from your side. And thank you so much for joining and giving your important time. It was a kind of healthy conversation with you on the topic. We look forward to conduct more such sessions with you in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harsh. You have a lovely Friday.
Thank you. Same to you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
On the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside, I'm alone